welcome to Chrissy's Books. I am your girl, Chrissy. Thank you so much for tuning in to my book review. And for this week, I have a really interesting read, and it is Milk, Blood, Heat by Dantiel W. Moniz. Or Moniz? Moniz. I'm gonna go with Moniz. I have recently been dreaming of like a Florida vacay, and I thought to myself, oh, this book is set in Florida. I remember seeing that like somewhere, and it might kind of inspire me to kind of take that trip and go to Florida and enjoy that, you know, that nice Florida heat. So yeah, I just really like the vibe of this book, and also a lot of celebrities that I follow have been reading this book. It was, yeah, I mean, I've seen it float all over Instagram and stuff, so I kind of knew that it would be a pretty good read. I would like to give a huge thanks to Grove Press for sending me this beautiful book to read, so thank you so much. And yeah, let's get into what Milk, Blood, Heat is all about. The setting for this book is Florida in the US. Milk, Blood, Heat is a collection of short stories that delve into the ordinary worlds of young girls, women, and men who find themselves confronted by extraordinary moments of violent personal reckoning. These intimate portraits of people and relationships scour and soothe and blast a light into the nature of family, faith, forgiveness, and consumption, and what we may or may not owe one another. So some examples of some of the stories are: a woman recovering from miscarriage finds herself unable to let go of her daughter. Two 13-year-olds ponder and flirt with all the ways they could die. A man struggles with the fact that his wife is dying from cancer. These are just a few of the riveting stories within this lusty summary book. So that's what it's all about. So stay tuned. When I come back, I'm going to give you guys my review and my rating and my song pick as well for this book. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Let's get into my review for Milk, Blood, and Heat by Dantiel W. Moniz. It is summer, and you know, I kind of felt like, oh, this is going to be like a summery type of read. And I was also really in the mood for like short stories, because sometimes it's quite nice to read short stories, and I enjoy that. So this book, you guys, this was a really interesting and intriguing collection of short stories. Dantiel Moniz definitely has a completely powerful and clear point of view within her writing style, and also her storytelling. She flirts with the idea of morality and our short time on this earth in each and every story. It was quite a harrowing but also beautiful book to read. It's almost like when you want to like look away from like a gross scene in a movie and you're like, oh, I cannot look, but I must look. That's what this book was like. It was really interesting and quite in your face, you know. Really riveting read for sure. The one really big quality that I really loved about this book was the writing. Oh my goodness, this book was written so well. It's so sharp, it's dark, it's seductive, and it's just plain good writing. I really admired the author for this, and she truly has a way with words and is able to capture interesting and dark moods within each story. Yeah, she's definitely a true writer. So if you're a person who really loves language and who loves words and descriptive words and who's a wordy person, you're really gonna like this book. Just for the writing, it's just so good, and she definitely has a clear point of view with her writing style. I definitely have to say there were times when I was reading this book where I was completely blown away by the weight and the intensity of these stories. Even though they are short stories, they have a massive impact. And some of the stories just really blew my mind. I mean, she really goes there, you know, like she takes you to like the edge and the limit of these stories. And each story had like a dark twist at the end, which you never really saw coming. So it was just really riveting to read. All the characters definitely had a connection or something in common, which was the struggle to grapple with this delicate and stressful life that we all have. And some of the stories I definitely loved more than others. I was completely in love with the very first story, which is titled after the book, Milk, Blood, Heat. That was an epic opener, and it really just set the tone for the entire book. But yeah, each story definitely carried its own weight and brilliance with the characters that she gave us throughout each story. It was just like pretty awesome. I really loved the focus on girlhood and womanhood and that confusing like adolescent time that all girls face. It was really, really raw and visceral. Another aspect that I loved about this book was the setting, which is actually kind of why I picked up this book. You know, I knew that it was set in Florida, and Florida just has that like hazy, humid, moody, like sticky feeling about it, and it is August and it's summer. So yeah, I really loved the setting of this book, and it fit the mood as well for the stories in this book. That kind of like relentless, wild, unpredictable, destructive weather that Florida has. It was just like really, it just fit the book and the stories. So I really loved the setting of this book, and she was very descriptive in kind of describing the atmosphere, which I really liked. With all that said, let's get into my rating for Milk, Blood, Heat. So I gave this book a rating of 8 out of 10. Yeah, so this book was a really great read. It's a solid book. It's just a solid book. It was very enjoyable, and I would definitely recommend for you to read it, especially if you're a lover of words and language and like just moody, atmospheric books. You're really gonna like this book. It definitely packs a punch. So yeah, 8 out of 10 rating. And if I were to describe this book with 4 words, the first one is dark. That is because this book was moody, it was atmospheric, it was intense, it was very brutal, and it deals with morality, and that was kind of like within each story. It was sort of like an underlying like, you know, tone within each story. So yeah, it was quite a dark read. The second word is primal. This book was really wild, it was unhinged, it was raw, and it was also lush as well. Really great setting for the book and for the stories, that kind of like humid Florida vibe. So yeah, quite primal and wild, and you know, alligators and shit, whatever's in Florida. I've never been, but that's how I imagine it to be, primal. The third word is sharp, and this is because this book was just written so well. It was very clean, it was blunt, and really great writing style and very descriptive within each story. She's a very descriptive writer and a lover of the English language. So yeah, very, very clean, very sharp. And the fourth word, last but not least, is powerful. This was a really great feminine, strong, female-driven characters that I really liked. And yeah, it was just a really punchy read, quite like powerhouse, you know, in these short stories. So yeah, definitely very powerful. And to wrap up this review, this book, oh my goodness, what a debut for Moniz. I can't believe it's a debut book. She is a writer to definitely watch out for, and I'll be reading much more from her. I would definitely suggest for you to give this book a chance. I would say it's the kind of book that people would either like or they just won't like it. It's very much in your face, but I would just definitely try and read it and see how you feel about it. This book is about friendship, it's about girlhood and womanhood, it's about loss, temptation, morality, and our fragile lives, and it questions everything. I definitely recommend this book if you are looking for a challenging and visceral collection of short stories. Really good to read, especially in the summertime. And so with all of that, let's get into my song pick for Milk Blood Heat. So this was quite fun because I knew that I wanted a song by a young artist, so somebody in the Gen Z generation. I also knew that I wanted this song to feel like atmospheric and lush, wild, you know, a bit dark and moody. And when I think of all those things, I literally think of one person, especially because they're like young and trendy and they're like so famous. And of course, it is Billie Eilish. I haven't actually picked a song by Billie Eilish yet. I can't believe it. But yeah, I just feel like she just captures the mood of this book. And the song that I chose is actually from her latest album called Happier Than Ever. And the song is called Everybody Dies. So you can kind of guess what that's about. Definitely listen to it. I'll link it at the end of this video. Very atmospheric and just like captures that heat and intensity of Florida and the stories and everything. So yeah, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, y'all, and subscribe because I read all kinds of books. And feel free to comment as well and let me know what your thoughts. If you read it, if you're looking to read it, just comment and let me know, right? So that's it from me. Thank you so much and have a fantastic week.